Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. SeKo Caffeine Craft giving you probably one of the most crazy long games that I have ever played. Uh, with a really nice chatty Zerg player named the Boo Box. Up here at the top right is the blue Zerg. I was actually playing a few games before this one, so he's complaining about BattleNet, and I didn't know exactly what he was referring to. Didn't show levels when loading the map. I don't really necessarily pay attention to that, so that wouldn't have bothered me anyways. Got a nice big coffee here because I know this game's going to be a bit longer. Speed it up here at the beginning because it's a longer game. He played random, so this is him saying that we both played some Warcraft 3 apparently, so we're going to have a great time. I don't know if anybody else played any Warcraft 3. Regardless, I actually played human in Warcraft 3. Undead was really fun, but when it came down to actually, winning against other people, I found that Terran was my way to do that. We are going to have a gas just after the racks went down, so it looks like we're going to be going for some sort of Reaper opening. On this side, we had a pool there's probably a 14 pool before any hatchery, which is pretty interesting. This is me saying that I'm going to wait for him to scout me, so I know. He says he apparently doesn't need to scout, which is going to be to his detriment, I'm assuming. Because that would have made it a lot easier if it just a worker ran past, obviously. Oh yeah, speeding it up again. Let me put this coffee down, get better control of what the hell's going on. Orbital command happening up. Gonna get the Reaper out. Overlord's gonna be chilling like a villain. So Overlord's chilling as well. I see the Overlord with my SCV, so I know that he's Zerg. The thing I want to pay attention to now is does he throw down a base? Because by now you should have a base down. He does not have a base down, so I'm going to go and see why he doesn't have a base down. I see gas. I come back here, and I see the Roach Warren. So, okay, well, even a very newbie-ish scrubby player will get out a hatchery first before a Roach Warren. I mean, the Roach Warren's great for defense against drops and Hellions and jazz like that. But at this early of the game, it's costing him tons of resources. I mean, workers-wise, he has a lead because I'm going tech. And I'm going to try actually really hard to take out this Overlord. I've done this a bit more lately. There's a lot of sloppy Zerg players I've been running against. Maybe they don't expect Terrans to run out their workers super early on. Not the workers, the Marines. Am I going to be able to get this guy? Yeah, no problem. And that supply blocks him pretty good. He's just starting another Overlord now. When I get my Overlord sniped, it's very important I get a very fast second Overlord on the way. Now, because I saw the Roach Warren before the expansion, I am going to be throwing down a tech lab to be able to start getting out tanks. I'm actually getting double bunker. So he might have actually juked me really good, but he still ended up building the Roaches. So even if his plan was to really throw me off into a defensive role, which it worked, he's still putting himself a long ways behind. I'm going to throw around my Reaper Scout now. It looks like he's taking a wonky path because I want to avoid the Overlord if possible. Double bunker, still making Marines, tank on the way, still pumping out SCVs. He's still making more Roaches, and he's got another 4 drones. So he's going to have an economy lead, but most of his supply that you guys are seeing up here is from all these Roaches he's building. I do see this here, and it's not done yet. I see the Roaches come down. I'm going to get out of there nicely. And I'll be able to get another scout in. What I'm looking for is if he's going for a layer tech. Maybe because he wanted to do drops. I was hoping to be able to pick off a worker. I didn't quite get the guy. See the evolution chamber, the second gas. And I'm just going to escape out of there and leave that guy to check for a third. Back at home, I should be probably going for a command center or something pretty soon here. I've got the money for it. I do have my tanks out. All my defenses up. And I've also got enough. I got a pretty good saturation here. I do need to get this gas soon as well, though. So down goes my command center. This opening by him threw me off a fair bit. I mean, he did invest a lot into these Roaches that really aren't going to do him a lot of good. He's not attacking with them. He's doing no damage with them. They're eating up a ton of his supply, his resources, what probably should have been drones. It is good that it will protect him from Hellion run-bys and stuff for the time being. But I'm not too worried about that. 2 more factories going down and a starport. I will be going mech in this game. Command center is well on its way. He's getting his upgrade started, which is really nice. And he's making static defense. He likely plays in the same league as I do. Platinum, I'm pretty sure he's a Platinum as well. And that means he's probably suffered for tons of drops and Hellion run-bys. Which is why he's got out these defenses first and his economy second. As you can see, now he's only building workers. Going to have 2 full bunkers and a tank. So I'm mega prepared for any type of bust, which isn't coming. Which is very obvious to me watching this replay, that I really expected him at the time of the game to take in these roaches and go for a bust. Which I do all the time to Terrans, where I think are going too high of a tech or anything like that. Let's see if I'm going to get out any type of medevacs here soon. Command center's just finishing up. Worker supply, he's still got a pretty good lead on that. But I do have a better army supply out right now. Lots of Hellions finished. Blue Flame on the way. I'm going to go for some mass Hellion it looks out of these. There's my medevac on the way. Making my second orbital. No third base yet coming out of the boo box. A little surprising for me. Even more roaches happening now. Even still, if he tried to bust this, even with those roaches, I mean, he might get up here and do some damage. If he can get some roaches up, he might be able to pick off the tank. But he'd lose so much. Sending out my Reaper, he's still useful just to be able to scout for a third base. Seeing nothing there. Out come all of his roaches down to the bottom. Which I'm just going to run into the main again and go for another good scout. This is the third really good scout. I see the timing of the lair. It would have been nice to see if there was a spire or anything coming down after this. Is this guy going to get away? Slick. He does get out of there. That's fantastic. And here comes the drop full of Hellions. More Hellions and tanks after this. Blue Flame will be finished by the time my medevac gets there. I'm going to move over my next base now. And I'm going to start really pumping out all the mech units. We're still pretty even on supply. I'm going to watch myself get supply blocked here in 2 seconds. He does generally have some interesting places for his overlords, but they're not really in the alleys that's going to give early detection. Units-wise, he's not really kept up on his worker production. Well, neither have I. But with his 2 bases in production, he should be doing a little bit better. I would be expecting out of him there. I've got a third command center coming down already. This is about the timing I normally should have for a third. My second is a long ways delayed on this. I'll be going for my gases really fast. He doesn't see this. We'll see how quickly he reacts to my Hellion drop. I sent in this Reaper on purpose to try to distract him. Now let's see how quickly they're going to come up here as I move in all the Hellions. I don't see any pull yet. He does see these, obviously. Blue Flame's done. That's not that great of a hit. That one was a bit better. I didn't get a really great amount of hits off. 6 workers for 4 Hellions, not that great. I did save the medevac at least. But that is going to put him on his toes a little bit now about the drops. That was a good pull from him. Not necessarily the best target firing by me. Still popping out SCVs. Oh, it should be, yep, there's more SCVs. Lots of tanks in production. I'm going to get down my armory for my upgrades and to get hellbats out. Where am I scanning right now? I was scanning to look for a spire, so I don't get screwed over by some sort of stupid spire attack. I don't see that at all. I do see the gases. He hasn't taken his 4th gas. There he is, finally getting it up now. Medevac is coming home alive. Didn't take all my gases because I'm going mech and I need it. And how am I doing for my supply? I'm not supply blocked yet. I haven't taken the supply lead. I could probably push out and look to do a little bit of damage with my tanks and my Hellions. But I'm not going to worry about it too much at this point. Get these guys out to the front to block. And another armory happening as well. I should be getting my upgrades going. We see the Spire Tech now finally coming out for him. Where'd he put it? That's a really interesting spot. I don't know if I agree with that. It means it's not really well protected from a marine drop or something like that. But what do I know? What am I scanning at again? Yeah, I'm scanning to see if he's getting down his other bases. And I'm seeing no third base yet. Very delayed. My third base is going to move over. I might as well. If I've got the ability to control the map and he's not putting on pressure, I might as well try and do that. I should be producing more SCVs at this point. I'm punching out tons and tons of mech units, which is great. But with my minerals, I should be able to afford to get a lot more workers on the way. I'm building a couple of Vikings because I want to go around the map picking off overlords. We'll see how effective that is. Muling up my new base, which is great. I might as well do that. Particularly this hasn't been seen yet. Very delayed third base at the 14-minute mark for the Zerg player. So I don't know if that was That was a little bit of a problem for him there. We're both not super focused on the macro. I am throwing down a couple of missile turrets just to be able to deal with any type of burrow play coming out of him. If he goes roach or infester, it really sucks to lose those kind of things. Good amount of roaches. They have 1-1 up, which is great. My units don't have anything. I don't think I've even started anything. It's pretty bad for me. Supply blocked as well because I'm a champion. These guys do have blue flame though. I'm going to go down and check for the third base. At the same time as I'm going to go for another drop at the top. So let's see if I can pull his army out of position while I attack this. What I'm really trying to focus my gameplay on now is being able to multitask. Being able to run one army one way to pull his army out of position. Good damage on that hatchery, but I'm just going to pull away now. I pulled all of his roaches out of position. In come the Hellions again. See how many workers we can get this time. That's a good hit. That one is pretty decent. See now, at the same time as taking out all of these workers, I did see the Hellions. I did save my medevac, which sucks, but that bought me a little bit of time to know that I'm going to be dealing with the Mutalisks. So you see me throwing down a lot of turrets all over the place just to deal with it. I used to get into a bad habit of using one SCV and clicking a turret all over the place, but by the time he's done, obviously it's not going to matter that much. Handful of Mutalisks still running around. Going to come back in with my Hellions. See if I can get a little bit more damage in on the hatchery here. I do know the time is limited, obviously, with the Mutalisks coming in. Let's see how quick. Not too bad of a pull. I ended up losing 1 or 2. Pathing was pretty shitty on that. I don't know why they had to go different directions. But I did end up saving most of them. This base down here hasn't even been scouted yet, so I haven't been too worried about defending it with anything. I need to keep myself contained right now. I don't have any anti-air to push out on the map to try to kill off Mutalisks. So if I went out with all my Hellions and tanks, they would just get destroyed. So I've got to be very careful about pushing out now without Thor protection or Vikings or something of that nature. My upgrade's finally on the way. He's going into ultralisk, which I really like. And I haven't mentioned this yet, but his creep spread has been fantastic. I mean, it'd be nice if he got it a little bit better to his bases he's going to. But he's trying to build a nice highway out to my bases, which I like a lot. I think that's really smart. Good missile turrets. There's enough of them here to really kind of ward away just a handful of mutas he's made. I like that he hasn't overcommitted into Mutalisks. He's just using them really to try to control the map now at this point and to deflect drops. He will see this base. Oh yes. How I do love my Widow Mines. Great hits on that. I split them up in different spots now. It's nice to just sprinkle them in there. If you use them too much, sometimes the opponent will really know how to deal with them. But if you just sprinkle them in there, okay hits. It'd have been nice. That could have been a bit better. I do see that attack going on, so I'll pull all my army to go and deal with that right now. But he's going to get a lot of damage in before my army gets over there to deal with it. He does have the supply lead right now. He does have his third base getting saturated, so he's in a good spot. He's got a pretty big bank, though. I managed to be spending my money pretty good. Happily for me, I still have the Widow Mines and a Thor here to deal if any more Mutalisks came in. And I actually still have a SCV over here to defend all that, which is great. The Widow Mines are really cool. They're a tricky unit. Sometimes they don't work. In the case of, say, all those Zerglings running in. Bam. In the case of all those Zerglings running in, I mean, they didn't really hit off a lot of damage. They only kill the first few. I really got to keep up with my workers, though. I'm only at 39 to his 51. I did lose a few there, but my worker count is really bad for the number of bases I have. I should be focusing on that a little bit heavier. And probably getting... I do have a 4th command center ready. I do have a couple of Thors now with +1 finished, so I'm going to go and try to push out onto the map a little bit. See if I can't take out his third base. Scanning, take out some creep tumors. I didn't hit his main creep tumor, which is a little unfortunate. But for me, I do want to keep that creep a little bit more subdued. Ultralisk's 5 about to pop, and he does have a lot of roaches that have 1-1. 2-2 won't finish in time, but I do have all the hellbats in place, the Thors and the tanks sieged up. That hatchery should go down here pretty soon. In comes all of his roaches. Unfortunately, behind the hellbat splash and with the tanks, he's really not trading very cost effectively. I mean, I'm losing a lot of my hellbats, but he lost a lot of army to do that. Pretty lucky for him, 4 ultralisks pop out of the same base, and I didn't manage to snipe the hatchery either. I am going to de-siege my tanks, because they work better against ultralisks that way. I did kill most of the ultralisks, but this army is dead. I did learn at that moment, though, that he had burrowed infestors. And that's a problem. So more turrets going down. What are you doing over there? That's a bit of a waste. I do need more factories. I'm only still producing off of 3. Command center's finally going to be on his way over. Producing more SCVs now, which is great. Keeping up with my upgrades. And it looks like he's going to go around for another bit of an attack to this base. Now, I did a lot of damage to my own units doing that, but I did kill off a whole pile of zerglings. And hopefully he learned that he can't just push into here and hope to kill stuff. Try to spread out my widow mines a little bit, so that way they don't all clump up on units. Let's see how well that works out. It's been really nice to snipe that base because I didn't. I haven't been able to do that much to his economy. I have these 4 Hellions up here scouting for his 4th, so I know I'm not really behind on economy-wise, and we're tied up on supply. A couple of widow mines here to deal with any run-bys, and I should be making that into a planetary pretty fast. Still producing SCVs though, which is great. So if we look at workers, I have used this time to catch up nicely, but I do need more production facilities to start happening, because I'm still producing out of the same 3. There go all my workers. Alright. So I've actually got a pretty good setup going right now. I like my defense. I do need more macro production. My money's starting to pile up. My gas is doing great. Planetary should be coming up. Planetary, missile turrets. So I'm in a good spot. I don't know exactly what's on his mind at this point. I mean, he does have a lot of ultralisks out, and now he's making all the roaches. Infestors in the back, obviously. I tried to see if I could run by with those Hellions or to see what was going on. It'd probably be a better use of my time to start taking out this creep with those Hellions, but I'm not too worried. Now at this point I'm starting to pull away a little bit because of what I've set up for an economy. There goes down a couple more production facilities. Lots of tanks. I still have a couple up at the top. These guys haven't helped out at all this game, but I'm keeping them there to deal with any run-bys. Be nice to take out that one creep tumor. Unfortunately for this guy, he has not been spreading new creep with any queens or anything like that. So he hasn't really been... Oh, he's getting a little bit going there. He hasn't really been maximizing the fact that he controls the map a bit better. Running out with another bunch of Hellions just to check for new bases. These guys are now 2-2, which is pretty decent. I mean, he's getting his upgrades at a good point now. But it looks like he's trying to max out and go for some sort of really, really epic bust on me here. Lots of ultralisks. Do they have chitinous? No, they don't have chitinous planing. They should soon. I do scout and see that there is no bases with my Hellions here. I did scan to take out the creep tumor, which is great. And then we have another good-sized army moving out here now. Production's finally at a decent position. I've got 6 factories, but you can see the queue up on these. I don't have enough reactors to be pumping out the Thors and the tanks to the level that I want. Still a great-sized army. He's finally going down for another base, which I now scout. I'm in a bit of a weird spot myself. I know that he's got a really crazy sick army happening. I've at least got my armor for +3 on the way. And I know that if it crushes me, it'll take me forever to rebuild my mech army. So I don't want to have to go after that and lose a lot. A little oversaturated here. I need to put into my gas. Probably should be getting another command center. But behind this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to throw down a fusion core. And I'm going to try a really crazy tech switch. If he's not attacking me and I'm building up a bank, what I want to try to do is see if I can do a really crazy tech switch and catch him really off guard. Because the mech armor counts for air now. It doesn't count for air weapons, but it does help out a lot. This is me sacrificing a bunch of SCVs that I don't need. I was up to 63, and I need to get more supply for my army. So I just sacrificed those guys for the betterment of the world. Nice changelings running in there. I have no bio in this army, so it should be easier for me to spot those. More missile turrets at the front to see for anything that's burrowed. See this base, it's still pretty low in health. This base hasn't been used for anything yet. Finally making another queen. Very simplistic on his hotkeys here as well, if you've noticed. I don't think he's even... No, he doesn't even have his hatcheries hotkeyed. He must be really good at clicking. He has the army that he wants. He's got most of the upgrades he needs. It looks like now he feels like pushing out. At the same time I am, so this might not be the best timing for me. Couple of Thors in the lead. Trying to pull them back. Sieging up my tanks, which necessarily isn't good against ultralisks, but against the roaches it is. And we'll see how our supplies do here. I mean, we're both just bashing each other in the face at this point. But he is... I'm getting a lot of kills, but he does have a lot of army still left behind this. And he's got 74 lings in production as part of his gathering back up into this. Still got a lot of damage done with my army though. Good hits from the mines. More good hits from the mines. All my stuff is rallied to the front, so it's all going to get intercepted as it moves out, which is really bad for me. Happily, I'm keeping my third base alive during this, which is great. He is killing some of my production facilities, but now I've got to worry about securing my base. I can't let my production facilities die. This is a good move for him to actually go after this base with his lings while he can. I mean, it's obviously going to do a lot of good damage. That tank got a lot of kills, but this base is essentially forfeit. My main, well, my natural over here is going to get damaged pretty good. I need to get out hellbats, maybe raise my wall up here to deal with that better. Behind this, though, happily, I did save my command center, which is important. This one, I believe, is going to go down. Yeah, that one's going to go down. I'm not paying attention to that. I'm worried about my front now. I have this to defend it. Now, if he was smart and went up the ramp first, he'd be in a lot better position. A lot of Thors out. Obviously, having all my hellbats up here is going to roast through these lings really fast. He's going to try to push through this little choke point, which is going to kill off the rest of his army. Did save my command center, which is nice. I did stabilize. He's got a pretty big supply lead, but for me right now, I know he lost all of his army. This is the point where we should really try to get ahead on his economy. He did make another giant pile of ultralisks. Going to run back my command center. But behind this, I'm going to try to do for a run by and get some drone kills if I can. Behind this, I went for something really sneaky. I'm actually going for battle cruisers right now. And I put down a reactor because I'm so smart. He has, I believe, a giant swell of ultras out here. You should be able to push and get some damage done with those. I do see the primarily ultralisk army, and that's what its VMAX is, so I'm hoping that by me going battle cruisers, and if I have the time, I should be able to get back and do the damage I need to. Making 2 battle cruisers at a time right now, because I still have a pretty sick bank. Lots of gas to be able to afford it. What am I scanning at right now? Oh yeah, I'm scanning all the corners to be able to see if he's taken the whole map on me. This base is really doing well up here. He's not attacked it even slightly. I gotta do something with those idle SCVs, but give me a break. I was burdened. Big muta-switch though right now, which is really fascinating. I like it. I think it's really smart. I do obviously have the ultralisks here to help deal with that. That's an ultras. The Thors, which are 3-3, against his mutas, which are 0-0. He is going to push in for this base now. I do see that that's there. If he takes this base, it's not worth me losing my whole army for. It's already really paid for itself a lot. So I know that this base is probably going to get sacked. I'm just not going to push it to try to take it out. Let's see if I try to repair this command center or if I'm just going to run away with my workers. Am I going to save my workers? No, workers. I'm trying to save the workers, but I was way too late. I lost like 30 workers in that. That was really, really bad for me. I do have another command center on the way somewhere, which is good. Yep, another command center. I do have all the Thors down here to help. If he tries to bust into the main, he's not going to have a good time. Let's see if he tries anyways. I mean, hellbats against the ultralisks. The splash damage from the ultralisks is obviously going to do really well. But he's throwing away a lot of army right now. It's nice for him to focus down the tanks, but these mutalisks are 0-0. So my Thor should take them out before they manage to do too much damage. I don't have anything else to do. I'm not going to unsiege in case a lot of zerglings are coming in behind this. So he is really going to try and focus down as many tanks as he can, which is pretty smart. Through all this, he has not seen my battle cruisers though. Supply-wise, he's not really that far ahead. I mean, he does have his bases up, which is great. And he did take out this base, which is great. But I do have a new command center that's finished, that's going to be ready to move out soon. I'm still working off of my bank. I mean, he's obviously got a really sick bank. Let's see what he's got coming in here. Mass, ling. Do I have any hellbats out yet? Yes, I do. Now, I'm going to... happily for him, he does scout this first. This is a massacre if I've ever seen one. I mean, he does end up killing off a bunch of my tanks with that, which is good for him. I know that's what he really wants to do. But at this point, it's not going to matter. He's getting out 16 corruptors, which is great. That should be able to deal with my army. What I'm hoping to get him to do is really overcommit to air, which he spent tons of his gas now building corruptors. Which is hopefully going to buy me time to be able to move into a different base here. I'm going to focus down the hatch. I want to do guaranteed damage. Might have been better to go for the other hatch that obviously has more minerals at it. In come the corruptors. The corruptors are 0-1. These guys are 3-1. They will go down pretty fast. I mean, they're not focus firing or anything, but they will win out here eventually. Oh, now he's focus firing things down pretty nicely. He did end up losing a lot of corruptors in doing that. But I know I saw all of his workers run down here, so now I'm going to try and see how many of these I can kill. He burrows, but obviously I got to scan. Yeah, that worked out really well. Got the queen. Lots of lings in here right now, which he will get a good surround on my workers, on my hellions, which is too bad, but that's alright. I managed to kill a lot of workers, down to at least some sort of considerably even level. Moving over my next base, because my main is mined out, essentially. This one's pretty mined out. Lots and lots of hellbats after this. Very tanky unit. Gonna move 3 up here to this base to protect it. It looks like he knows what I'm doing. Pow, he got shot in the face. That's a pretty good amount of lings. These are 3-3 lings. He manages to get 1 hellbat out of all that. I've actually taken the supply lead. So crazy out of all that, hey? He does have the economy there. I don't know why this space is important to rebuild. I wouldn't be worrying about that one if I was him. I'd probably be taking the gold. Gonna run some hellions around to scout the corners. I can't really afford to use a lot of my scan energy. Oh, I guess I can afford to use my scan energy. La-di-da. He doesn't have much on the army right now. 21 roaches in production. Come on, hellions. One more shot. Yeah. Units tab. He is down to 14 workers to my 26. Workers killed. He's actually still in the lead. I thought I was doing pretty good for workers killed, but that guy's totally He's gonna come back down to shut down this base, which is smart for him. I do know that I can't take this. I'm gonna run away the workers, save the workers, lift up the command center, and I'll be fine. I'll just run over to a new base. Workers, the important thing for me to save at this point. Because if we look at production, he's not building any more workers right now, and he really needs to. Well, no, he got 27. He did go for another round. He's gotten the lead again. All these corruptors, which are really useless to him. Does he have Greater Spire yet? No, he does not. He can't afford to get it yet either. I'm sending out workers to the corners just to scout. I do have a widow mine up here. Got off one shot on that guy. Because I just don't want to... I don't really want to fall behind terribly for any stupid reason. Making another command center. He probably could snipe that off if he was, you know, planning smartly here. I canceled the command center rather than risk losing it. I need that money too badly right now. I will start another one again here. Yeah, there we go. Really soon. Still working off of 4 factories. I don't really have the gas support right now to be able to take care of anything really effectively. Big oversaturation on this. Still moving his creep along, which is nice. Leaving workers in all the major expansion points. He's finally going to be expanding up here to the top, and I know that. So in my mind, I know I've got a limited amount of time now to be able to really go and get that, because I can't let that base really saturate up and get going. More ultralisks on the way, which I'm still pretty surprised that's the route he's going. I mean, they're good, but they have not really paid off for him in this game. I think going for a broodlord composition would really screw me over. I do have the starports in place, obviously, but that's still a pretty big tech switch for anybody to have to make in a hurry. Probably should getting into something just a little more damage. So my production's in pretty good full swing again. He does have a massive lead over me though in army. I'm gonna go for another little run by. Nothing really down here to hit. Got a few workers. Didn't really get any good trades out of that. I do have this SCV up here checking on the status of that, which is great. This base is kicking in, but there's not a lot of stuff here. I'm gonna pull back with my army, and I'm willing to sack this base if I need to in order to take out this base. So I'm gonna gather up all of my units I can, and I've got to push out here soon to do some damage. Because like I said, I can't afford to let him get that sick of a lead. So behind this, I'm gonna be moving to this base, while my army moves up that way as well. Still leaving a few guys at home just to be able to deal with any more run-bys of any sort. Pretty sure I'm leaving them at home. Great army once again on a boo box. I mean, the corruptors don't matter that much, but if he could use corruption for say on my tanks or anything. Another bunch of lings run by. This widow mine's got a sick amount of kills on it, which is funny as hell. I'm gonna send out my barracks just to see what's going on. More command centers. This base is doing fine. I'm gonna be sending this one in here to start mining pretty quick. His army's getting into position. He hasn't really moved any workers over to that of the base though. Killed off that queen, which is great, and the active creep tumor, which is really nice. So the creep will be stopping there. Sieging up. The Hellions run in first and just get owned by all the hellbats. These guys will probably be doing a better job not focusing down the corruptors. Now I'm going to target fire down. The Thor's obviously doing a great job. So now I know I've got a limited time before he probably does something like make a giant pile of zerglings. So I've got to come up here and kill this base. That's all I really want to do is kill that base and fall back again. Lots of Hellions at the front once again. And now I'm just going to run home. It looks like I'll lose a tank in the process. But I want to save this army. I need to transition into my next, whatever my next move is going to be. So I'm going to leave these guys at this base. It's a good army. I do have some missile turrets at this base, just because I know that he could still go mutalisks. Widow mines at the front to deal with any run-bys, which is great. Creep spread's great for his vision. He knows exactly what's going on. Fortunate for me, I know where he's expanding if he is at all. If we look at the units tab, still got the lead on workers, and now I have a new base. I did drop some mules to repair up this army, which is great. It's too expensive for me to just risk losing it. More missile turrets. In my mind, I actually half expected him to go for some sort of really, really massive tech switch into just huge mutas. I don't know what his economy is like, but you can tell that it's not doing super hot. I didn't know that obviously while I was playing. So he doesn't have really that great of an army. I've got the army lead again, and my army is almost completely healed up, which is great. And get that Thor up to full health. I'm actually going to be sneaky and take the gold base. I say, why not? It is an orbital. Nope, it's not. I should be able to get down a planetary behind it. Hellbats have been doing so good for me this game. They've been very tanky. The area of effect has been great. They have full upgrades on them, which is fantastic. Bunch of mutas coming in from the top. Well, happily he didn't suffer the splash damage of those, so he's okay. Those mutas looks like they're not going to really pay off too well for him. Missile turrets, first things going down at this base. I need gas really bad right now. I do see that that base is going down. I'm hoping he just doesn't know about this base going up in time for my missile turrets. That's so funny. And I mean, he could probably push him with these roaches and take out that base if he moves quickly. Double expansion, which is great for him. He's really got to focus again on economy. I don't know why he's delayed it so much. I'm reluctant about sending my Hellions around too far because I know he's got vision of everything, and his all of his mutalisks will take things out fast. I see all the workers running away in a nice big line. I'm going to go for it still. I have enough here that I'm going to go for the workers, even if I have to sack all of these Hellions. Units wise, he is down to 17 workers, so I've got about double his economy. I should be throwing down my gas here soon though, that's really holding me back. But at least I can keep building Hellions. Yeah, Hellions. Good army still up here. This base is pretty much kaput. Nobody at this base, I've pulled it all already. And I've pulled everybody from this base already. So it's going to be important for me to find my next base after this soon. Sure has been epic. Our Orc versus Night Elf game has been fantastic. Still hasn't taken advantage of these bases. I mean, he doesn't have any harvesters to do that. He is going into Greater Spire, but he doesn't have the income to really support that kind of trade. I'm going to push out now to take out that gold base before it really starts paying off for him. More missile turrets and stuff happening. These tanks could probably afford to move. So he's really not taking any money from this base at all. Unfortunate for him. Sieging up the tanks in case there's any roaches coming in. I scan to be able to see if the army's coming in at me. Take that out just fine. Unsiege, and now I'm going to start pushing down towards the south base. He is producing a bit more workers. Trying to hit the creep as I go past as well. Does have the active creep tumors over here, but that's alright. 2 Thors and 4 Hellions at a time. I want to get the Thor production out. They seem to be doing so well against all of the roaches, the ultralisks, and they're keeping the mutas at bay. Let's see if he's going to try to take on my army here. No, it looks like he's just in a defensive spot. I'm just going to go home. I did the damage I needed to. It looks like now he's got 3 broodlords up, but that's pretty much all he's been able to afford off of his economy. He's trying to expand again to the gold, but obviously with this guy right here, it's not going to do him too good. This base is getting really close to spent. This base essentially is, but I've already moved a bunch of my workers away, so that's not doing too bad. Take out the rest of that creep over there. This is a pretty good sized army. It's doing really well. Producing more roaches. I got a big supply block on me again because I'm a champion. I've got the minerals, so I should be throwing down like 5 or something at the same time. Going to go for another run by to the north, followed by my army. I'm going to go push up the other avenue now. My mega hero Widowmine. I don't know what he's commanding. I think that's a bad name for a Widowmine expansion. Do see all of the mutalisks, obviously, chasing down my Hellions. That army is not going to deal with this. I mean, scanning table with the creep tumors, which is great. Let's see if I do another scan or not. He's only got the 3 broodlords, but I see the broodlord tech, and I pull back. I don't know how many was there. I didn't do a quick count, but I didn't do a quick count. But you see right now I morphed all of my Thors into the, whatever the heck it's called. The other one. High impact payload. Now high impact payload, so we look at it against air. Javelin missiles, there we are. So if we're using that, it does really good splash damage, but obviously against the mutas it doesn't help. These guys though, damage 30, and it has 10 range still. Really, really great at dealing with any of those units. As opposed to, say, looking at this, you know, 9 damage. I am producing a lot of, sorry, a lot of Vikings behind this. I need more coffee. Mine's going soggy. So he's going to try to, either he's long distance mining, or he's going to try to expand again. This base is up and he's mining from it, so that's his lifeblood. Yeah, good stuff. Oh boy. Well, he wants to expand at some point. I'm pretty close to max out. I was waiting to get at least a handful of Vikings together before I push on his gold base. That's my next plan. You're gonna take everything with you there, big guy? Well, at least I've got enough supply now to be able to deal with everything. So this is all of his workers. I mean, he's oversaturated, but he needs the cash. His income's going up pretty heavy right now. Throwing down another base, which is great. For me, I'm just going to take this thing out in a blast. Splitting up all my hellbats. Take out all of the workers. And I'll just back up. So that's fine. I mean, he's up to, well, he's up to 7 broodlords. So that's pretty good. I do have my Vikings out now, and all my Thors with high impact payload. So I feel pretty secure about pushing in. So I'm just getting together all my Vikings, making sure that all my hotkeys are together and my high impact payloads are out. And we should be ready to push in for the final bit. Good roach army. I'm not going to siege up my tanks. Obviously, with the broodlings, I don't want to have to deal with that. He doesn't have any corruptors left to deal with the Vikings. I mean, obviously, with these Thors doing the high impact payloads, these guys get rolled pretty fast. My Vikings are 3-2 as well, so they get taken out. GG's out. That was at about 58 minutes, the longest game I think I've ever played. And a pretty big comeback on top of that as well. So if you guys actually sat through that whole thing and watched it with me, thank you very much. I hope you guys enjoy the commentary. Leave some comments or a like if you would. And we'll talk to you guys next time.